All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming tonight. We're going to go ahead and get started. As our principal, Mrs. Strange, likes to say, we always like to start and end on time. We know that your time is valuable as ours is, and so we want to get started right away and just dive into everything. So we are so happy that you're here. Thank you for taking the time tonight to come and listen to everything we have to say about kindergarten. We love kindergarten. We love your kiddos, and we are so excited for this year as it continues to get started and they continue to get in a rhythm of everything. So we have created this PowerPoint with lots of information, and it's the ABCs of kindergarten, and it's for the 2020-2021 school year. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm Christina Kipler. We have Anna Tipton, Gabby Mariaka, and Ashley Sperlin with us. And a few of our pairs are on here as well, so you might see some other familiar faces. But Gabby is going to get us started today.
All right, thanks so much, Christina, and hello, you all. So happy to see you all. Thanks for popping on tonight. So we're going to go ahead and go through. We're going to start with the first one tonight. A, the letter A, and our ABC stands for attendance, which you all have been doing an incredible job of, by the way. So thank you. It's super important for students to be at school every day. However, if your child does have a necessary absence, like a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment, please make sure to let us know. You all have done a great job of that already, and it just helps us to know why your child might be late or not in attendance that day. Of course, we will be updating you on new attendance guidelines if and when we return to school in person. So just continue to be on the lookout for that. All right. We have another A, and this is Amplify Science. So as a district, our county has implemented a science program titled Amplify. It's got a lot of fun resources that are beneficial for our students. And we're actually going to be starting this really soon. We're on a social studies unit right now, but we'll be diving into our first science unit here really soon. If you have any questions about the program, please don't hesitate to ask. You may have some as we, whenever we get started, but it's really fun and definitely something that all of our students really enjoy. So B is for behavior at Wellington. We have a school-wide creed, our Wellington Creed, and this is something that we recite daily after the pledge. And it says, I'm an explorer, I'm prepared, I am a hard worker, I am a thinker and problem solver, I am kind, caring, and respectful. This is the Wellington way. And just some expectations that we have for students to follow are just to be prepared and work hard every day, which again, they're already doing, especially in these interesting times. To be a thinker and a problem solver, be kind, caring, and respectful. And again, this is something that we're already seeing everybody doing a really great job of. So keep that up. You're doing a great job. C is for Common Core. So we are using the Kentucky Common Core standards for teaching math and ELA. This can be found online for a much better explanation and description. But this is what's embedded into our lessons, and it helps us figure out how we're going to be teaching and instructing your child. Another C is for communication. The best way to communicate with your child's teacher is definitely through email or your classroom communication app. Google Voice Text is also very quick as well, if that works for you. If you do wish to call our Google Voice number, definitely leave us a voicemail anytime and we'll return your call as soon as we can.
I also forgot to say that if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat on this Zoom meeting. And at the end, we'll try to look over ones that haven't already been answered and answer those for you. So if you think of anything that comes up while we're talking, go ahead and put that in the chat for us and we'll get to it at the end. Sorry,
No,
Gabby.
definitely. No, thanks, Christina. Another C is for Clever. This is something that you definitely got familiar with over the past couple weeks. It's an online learning platform that does allow us to add all of our learning applications in one designated spot for all of our students. So for Clever Free Choice, your students may be able to pick an activity to practice their ELA and math skills. And this is definitely something that's super helpful, and it's nice to have everything all in one place. So you guys have done a great job figuring this out and navigating it as well. But it's a really cool site, and we're definitely happy that we have it. Okay, so D is for distractions. So while we completely understand that life is definitely happening at home and there might be distractions that your child encounters, there are some ways to minimize these distractions, like turning your TV off in the background. Sometimes, even if it's super soft, it might sound very amplified on the computer. So that really helps. Using headphones definitely helps, because then it's just your child mainly that we hear, and they have a better it's easier for them to hear us as well. Of course, keep microphone on mute unless called on. I feel like the students have done a really nice job of raising their hand and waiting to be called on, and being patient in that manner. So great job with that. Keeping background noise to a minimum, keeping pets and toys in a separate room, finding a quiet spot to work. That's probably key, is finding a quiet spot that's, free of all those distractions. And again, email is the easiest and usually the best way to get a message to us. Please feel free to email us at any time. Just keep in mind that we are teaching throughout the day and allow up to 24 hours for a response. F is for Friday fun. On Fridays, we will have extended morning meeting time, calendar, as well as a fun activity or craft related to what we were learning in class. And we really enjoyed the one that we did on Friday. This is also another time too, if we don't have like a specific craft, it can be sight word fun, and they get to use their Play-Doh a little bit extra, and just some fun things for them to do on Fridays. With our live instruction time. This is also a time for students to catch up on any unfinished work or Imagine Learning minutes. And I know we reiterated this earlier this week, but just please make sure that your child is getting on Imagine Learning and getting those minutes. It's really, really important and super helpful, and we really, really, really believe in it. So please make sure that they're getting on that, and we really appreciate your help with that.
Thank you, Gabby. This is me. I'm Mrs. Tipton. Hi, everybody. I have G for goals. Students will have goals to meet throughout the year for letter sounds, identification, and sight words. These goals will be used to monitor their growth, encourage them, and to take responsibility for their own learning, and then will be reviewed later on. We will keep you all updated on how they're doing. We're getting ready, if we haven't started already, to assess your children one-on-one in breakout rooms and trying to get their letter sounds and letter ID right now. So G is for goals. G is also for Google Classroom. By now, you all should be whizzes at this. It is quite the challenge. I know tonight some of you are coming in a little bit late trying to figure out how to get to the link that we posted today. You had to go in through the Google Classroom. It's the online platform that we use to assign your child self-guided learning. We also use it to post our daily and weekly announcements. It's pretty much the go-to of, where we do all our work. So if you need to contact your child's teacher regarding Google Classroom, please do so via email, as we do not check our Google comments regularly. Sometimes they do pop up, but by the time we get to them, it could be a little bit later. So email is the best for that.
Ms. Tipton, can I interrupt for just a minute?
Sure.
I would just like to say too that G is for gratitude. I know that that's probably not a slide, but I just want to say thank you so much. I'm so proud of our teachers and staff, and I'm really thankful and feel a lot of gratitude for you as our families. This is not something that any of us would have expected, but you as our partners, you've been right there alongside of your little one, and it's not easy, but it's been amazing because of you. So just gratitude for everybody on the screen. Please know how important you are and how proud I am of our teachers and staff at Wellington. G is for gratitude.
Thank you, Mrs. Strange. H for handwriting. We've already started in our handwriting books. We have Wonders handwriting books. They're kind of copied and stapled together. They were in the front of most students' binders. Please make sure your child has this every day and that they're not working ahead. And if you are around them, or if there's a grown-up around them, if the grown-up could maybe help with their handwriting, we like for the letters to kind of be formed, you know, the right way, and it's just really hard through the screen. We're having students show the screen, which they've been doing such a great job. Even some students, we can actually see them working, which is just, it helps us a lot because we're not there to do hand over hand. If you do see your child's making the letters incorrectly, they can always use a highlighter. You can and write the letter or write the number, and then they can go back with the correct grip on their pencil and trace it. So that will get their practice, so they're practicing it correctly. So if you all could just help with that, but just make sure that their handwriting book is with them every day. I Imagine Learning. So Imagine Learning, Ms. Mariaka talked about earlier that you can get it through the Clever, and each student is required to complete 60 minutes of Imagine Language and Literacy, that's one app, and Imagine Math instruction each week. Please make sure that your child is alternating between the programs. It's only about 15 minutes a day, so they can pick. Maybe today they want to do the math, tomorrow they'll do language and literacy. So they can choose which one they want to do. I know the math facts is super fun. My boys both loved math facts. It's kind of like video game-ish, but you know, they need to do all of them. So if you could just try to encourage them to do all of the programs.
And I've had a couple questions. They don't have to do Imagine Reading. That's for students as they get older. Just make sure they're doing language and literacy, and you can pick between Imagine Math or Imagine Math Facts. So they have both of those that you can switch up if you want to. But also another question I had, we had already done the benchmark Galileo test for the students, but I think on the language and literacy, it's still trying to figure out what level the students are at. So some of the questions might seem really hard right now, and it might tell them this is a test. And just push through it, try to get through it as much as you can. I know that it can be frustrating for your child, but they need to do it independently. You can kind of be there to give them support and tell them, great job, you can do this, it's fine. Take a break if you need to, but just try to get them through that to begin with so that they can actually get into the program and actually do work on their own. We figured that out yesterday, so it's kind of a little challenging, but it's better to let them get through that now instead of helping them, because like we've said before, if you help them, then it's going to be way too hard for them and they're going to get super duper frustrated. So just make sure that you're letting them kind of work through this first part until they actually get to the program on content that they should be able to do independently.
Yeah, and just to add to that, you know, the program is adapting to the reason why they're doing that. It's adapting to find a just right fit. So I always think of it like the Goldilocks theory. Is it too hard, too easy, just right? It's finding that just right spot. So it's not something that we're, you know, collecting a grade on. It's so that when they're practicing by themselves, that they can find that independent place, that just right fit, and shouldn't need, you know, other support. It's differentiating for our kids.
Thank you, Julie.
Yes, thank you. For real quick on Imagine Learning, I did have a couple questions on, did you have to do it during the self-guided time during the schedule of the day? And I know some families, you know, in the afternoon, you have other things going on. Maybe your child's tired, they need a break. Just as long as you get it in 15 minutes a day. So just whenever you can get that in. All right, I for investigations. Investigations is our math program that the district has been using for the last couple of years. It's a very hands-on program that allows the students to explore different concepts in math. We are very excited to continue supplementing with this curriculum in our classrooms. So we love anything hands-on, and as you've seen lately, we're just doing a lot of tracing numbers and matching and counting. And if you're near, just kind of helping us reinforce those because we aren't there. We will be one day. Yay, for join. Oh, this is a great reminder for me. Thank you. Please join our PTA. Wellington is so lucky to have an active and supportive PTA. Let's try to have 100% of our classes join and be involved in PTA. Kindergarten is super, super happy with our parent involvement. The last couple of years, parents have been really supportive in fundraising that we've done. And now the PTA is operating virtual, so more of you can join. We had some new faces last week at the PTA meeting. PTA doesn't mean you need to be an officer. Just be a part of Wellington and supporting. You can show up. Does anybody know how much dues are and how they can do that?
They are $6.
Okay, $6 for a family, right?
Yes, and I believe that the PTA Facebook page has
Okay.
information. Miss Curtis, if you want to weigh in, you could.
Oh, she's here.
I can put our website in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yay.
And it'll just take you straight there, and it's $6 a person.
Wow. Thank you. But please consider joining if you can. If not, please just continue to support PTA and everything they do. They help us out a lot. K for kindergarten success. Our goal is to have all students able to recognize uppercase and lowercase letters, as well as make their sounds by the end of October. So we're going to need your help with that. You've probably heard us doing our zoo phonics, AA, alligator. Just keep trying. And if you want to help us at home on your own time, or if you have any questions about the sounds that we have or the cards, you can email your parents or your teachers, and we can send that to you. I've sent a couple over just so they can support at home. Some of them have them hanging up on their wall. We also in their folder, right? Did they have them, Christina? When we put them in their folder, did we copy that yet or not yet?
The
Zoophonics?
like the motions and stuff.
No, did we copy the card? I can't remember.
There's a little card in their binder.
That's what it was. So there is a card in there with the animals, and your child should be able to practice that anytime if they pull that out.
It's inside one of the pencil pouches inside of their binder.
And sometimes I'll have my class pull it out as we do it together, and they'll just sit in front of them and look at it. So
it's a great idea. Yeah. So just please help us at home. If your child knows his or her letters and sounds, work on building and blending words. Just like I know a lot of us are doing in class, we're working on just identifying that first sound. And if your child can go on, by all means, let them go on. L for learning. Although it may seem that your child isn't always engaged during our Zoom lessons, just know that they are learning and retaining the information that is presented. Continue to support and encourage them as we continue through the next few weeks of distance learning. If your child is struggling and needs a break, give us a chat, say, hey, my child really needs a break. We don't want them to melt down. Their social emotional is so super duper important to us, and this is hard. It's hard for them, it's hard for us, it's hard for you guys. So, and they're doing an amazing job, but know that they are learning. I've seen them singing songs that they didn't know before. I've seen them repeat things that I've said before. So I know that they're listening. I don't know if they're always looking, but they are listening. And M for MAP testing. So first grade through fifth grade is currently taking the MAP test at Wellington. It's a computer-based comprehensive assessment measuring reading and math. Your child will take this assessment in the winter and in the spring. So kindergarten did not take it in the fall. So that's why you haven't heard anything from us about that. But we will take it in the winter and we will take it in the spring. And that's all I have. That's this Miss Sperling.
Hi everyone, I'm Miss Sperlin. Thank you all so much for coming on tonight. Oops. N is for newsletter. So we send out a weekly email and newsletter attached to it. You'll get those probably Sunday night or Monday morning. It has a whole lot of information in the email. So they're pretty lengthy emails, but they do have a lot of important things that you might have questions about, reminders of what's going on that week. we try to post what we're learning with the standards so that you all can keep track of that too. It will have activities that we're doing. Like I said, they're very lengthy, but we do try to make sure that we fill you all in on everything that you need to know to make your child's learning successful as well. So if you wouldn't care to read those emails when you get them and attached to them, look at the newsletter and it will answer a question. If you have a question, it's probably answered in that email or newsletter. So thank you for taking the time to read those. O is for on time. It's important that your child logs into our Zoom meetings on time every day. The students can begin to log on. We're on there starting at 7:45. So if they want to log on anytime before that, they can. It's just important that they start at 8, just like if we were in the school building. We can't really wait around for the whole class to be there. So we'll always get started right on time. It's important that they are there on time as well. P is for parent involvement, which you all are involved more than ever right now. And we appreciate with all of your help during distance learning. But we also want to encourage you all to allow them to be independent during all of this, as hard as it is to do. So of course, a 5-year-old on Google Classroom and clicking to the right links and stuff isn't like going to be practical right from the start. But hopefully we're hoping with the schedule that we post that they'll get better and better at kind of guiding their own learning and getting to where they need to be. You'd be pretty amazed. We like put them in charge of stuff and being responsible of stuff in the classroom that at first we're like, kindergartner can't stuff their own folder. They can't do all these things, but they can. So I know it's hard to watch your child struggle. It's hard to watch my 2.5-year-old struggle sometimes, but I know that I can't do everything for them. So help them when you think that they absolutely need to, but also encourage independence as much as you can too. Q is for questions and concerns. Like we said, please always contact us if you ever have a question or concern, and we'll do our best to answer or find an answer for you if we don't have one ASAP. A lot of this is all new to us too, so we don't necessarily have all the answers, but we will try to answer your question as best we can or guide you to someone that can. So like we've said previously, email is the best way to handle that kind of thing. R is for reading, which you already know is very important, but even in kindergarten, just the exposure to books is crucial. So reading nightly is essential in your child's growth as a reader. We encourage you all to spend 15 minutes a night reading with them. And even if you're doing, like, obviously most of them can't read right now, as to be expected, but just hearing you read and hearing you modeling like when to stop at a period and your expression and your fluency really builds them as a reader as well. So it's super important. When we do get back to school, we do like a reading log. We might start that soon online too, just where you all can kind of tell us what books that you're reading at night. Not that we don't trust that you're reading with your kid, but it also helps us know that they are reading and we can kind of talk about the books that they're reading, because a lot of them are books that we have at home or we read as kids or we read to our kids. So it's also a good talking point as well. But when they are reading, since they can't probably read right now, if they can, we've learned, I think as of today, we know 6 sight words. So they can point out 6 sight words to you all, if not more. We've learned 6 letters, so they can start identifying those letters and the sound that they make. We've been talking about character and setting. There's so many conversations and learning talking points while reading with your child.
Ms. Sperling, can I also just jump in? I learned today that your library card, if you have a library card or your child has one, which I think we'll be providing for you, there are some many free resources through the Lexington Public Library. And so we'll be sending some of that information home, but there are e-versions of books and things that you can find, as well as titles that you might have. It's really, I don't think there's any substitute for a book in your hand, and that helps them, know left to right and all those things. However, in this digital world, the public library is making lots of things available. So we'll get you more information about that, but I wanted to share that as I just learned that today.
Thank you.
I also wanted to share this picture with you. I found it today. It's honestly kind of mind-blowing to me thinking about kids reading and all the words that they would be exposed to in just the first couple of years of going to school. So I think it's very important that you are trying as much as you can. We understand that things come up every night, but your kids will grow so much just by reading at home every night. And so that's why we encourage it. And we love to see when they are able to identify words with us that we haven't even taught yet. It's really amazing to see. And we know that they've been working at home with that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to put that picture on there so you kind of could see.
Along that same line too, you may have some little readers right now. And so a way to extend for them is to be asking them, who the characters are, where did the story take place? You can be asking them more of those questions about what's happening in the story. I know that sometimes in kindergarten, families worry that, things might be too easy for them. They're learning how to put all those concepts together. So we've got a great seasoned team of teachers who are going to be able to differentiate for your children no matter where they are. And as they're getting to spend more time with them, they'll be learning that. So I know that's typically a common question. And I just wanted to assure you that we'll be attending to that. But that's something that you can do at home as well when you're reading is the who, what, where, when, why. And that builds conversation, and that oral language with your kids just continues to help them be comfortable with literacy.
Yes. R is for responsibility. I kind of talked on this just a little bit when we were talking about parent involvement and their independence. But one of the vital skills we want your child to learn, we think is crucial, is responsibility. So holding them accountable for being prepared for class. So one of our expectations is coming to class prepared. That means having their binder ready, their pencil, glue, scissors, eraser, all of that in their pencil box in an area that they can get to. Just like if we were in the classroom, we wouldn't want them having to get up and get something and come back, and it just takes instructional time. So if they could have all of their supplies ready, they're ready for the day, and it helps limit distractions and makes us focus more on learning. So like I said, it's amazing what we when you give them something to do, how they actually can do it. And teaching them to be responsible is one of the things that we're sending them different. We have two teachers in our room right now, a para and a teacher, and there's not gonna be two necessarily with them next year. So we think it's important to get them ready for first grade, and that's our job as a kindergarten teacher, to make sure that we are setting them up for success as they move along down the hallway to the older grades. R is for routines and strategies. For every subject, we have routines and strategies that we use. For writing, I'm sure you've heard us say over and over again, the first thing that good writers do is they think, and then they draw. And then for math, there's a ton of strategies once we get into numbers a little bit more. How to use their fingers, how to use manipulatives. For reading, we have different animals that represent different strategies when reading, like decoding strategies. Those are in their little pencil pouches in their binder, but will also be, they don't need those right now. Once we get into instruction a little bit more, we'll be referencing those more. But we'll also add those to the Google Classroom so that you all can use the same terminology at home. We try to stay consistent within our building of using the same routines and strategies and verbiage, so that when they do move along the hallways, like I was saying earlier, they're familiar and the strategies are the same, and it just helps them not have to relearn things over and over again. So if you could use that same terminology too when you're helping them at home, we would really appreciate that. I'm sure some of y'all get to hear us daily, and you probably have some of those things memorized already. So lucky you all. Sight words and support. So in kindergarten, we teach 100 sight words for sure. At the end of the year, if our kids are ready, we will move on and teach some of the first grade lists. If they need more support and practice, which happens, we will find words that we notice a lot of kids are struggling on, and we'll reteach those words. But we teach a minimum of 100 sight words a year. And these are words that not all of them can be sounded out. So obviously there are some that can be, but a lot of sight words are words that are not decodable. So we just expect them to be able to look at them and know what they say. So if you all in their binder, and in our classrooms, we have a wall that's like dedicated to sight words, so that when they're writing, we can say, oh, like if it's a sight word, we expect it to be spelled correctly in their writing when we do get to writing sentences more. But we can say, oh, look at the word wall. Like, what does the word start with? What does it end with? Do you see a word on the word wall that looks right? But obviously distance learning, we can't have a word wall. That would be helpful for them. So in their binder, you will have a sheet in color, and it will have, we didn't want to put all 100 sight words on there just yet because we didn't want it to be overwhelming to them. But we did put the first few weeks of sight words on there, hoping that that's all that they would kind of need for now. And so when they are writing, or when we are learning sight words, or you all are practicing those at home, they can refer to that in their binder. It is behind their handwriting paper, like their name practice handwriting. You'll see in color, and it's in alphabetical order with the sight words that we are going to be learning the next few weeks. And sight words are really, really important. Your kid will continue to learn sight words throughout. They'll build upon each other, but in all of the leveled readers that we use, sight words are the words that pop up the most. So that's why I know that we tell them when we're teaching the sight word, like, this is so important because this makes you a reader. Like, if you know these words, you're going to be able to read books. And we try to make that really exciting for them, and hopeful that when you all, like we said, are reading with them at home, or when you're at the grocery store or at a restaurant, when we are able to do that again, or driving down the road, that they notice these words and can point them out to you. It's really exciting for them. And then our special schedule. So Wellington this year has 5 specials. PE STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And so it's our science special, our music, art, and technology. We are on a 5-day rotation with that. So of course on Fridays right now, we do not have specials. So you will have specials Monday through Thursday. And I know that all the kindergarten teachers, we post a weekly schedule or a daily schedule on our Google Classroom. And we have all of the links attached. If you click on the link, it will take you to the Google Classroom of that specials teacher. So I know I've had a few parents email me, like, we can't get to the Zoom link. Well, if you look on, the reason that we took you to their classroom and not directly to the Zoom link is because sometimes they have self-guided lessons, or they have a recording and it's not live instruction. So the purpose of you having to join their classroom and us linking their classroom is because it's not always going to be via a Zoom link. So we've embedded those links into our weekly and daily schedule to try to make it super easy for you all. But please let us know. There's directions if you all, hopefully you all have done so already, but if you need help logging on to that teacher's classroom, we have directions for all of those as well. So please reach out to us and let us know how we can help you with that. But it's a lot. Just one Google Classroom is a lot, and now you have 5 more. So thank you for your help with that, and let us know if you need anything with that too.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. So what we're going to talk about now is just the end of the alphabet so we can finish this out for you all. We just want to say a huge thank you. Thank you to everybody. Thank you for all of your help and support so far, not only for your child, but us as well. We've gotten some very encouraging emails and messages just letting us know that the work we're doing is awesome. And we so appreciate that because as we said before, this is all new to us as well. So it's kind of hard for us to navigate all this new programs and things for us to use. So we appreciate your patience and help with everything. I know it's hard with working parents being home and figuring out childcare, and we are so appreciative of you all. We feel like it has gotten better over the last few days, last couple weeks, and that's just thanks to you and supporting your children at home and helping them with their curriculum and everything. So we really appreciate you, and we know that this will continue throughout the year, so we're excited. U is for unique. We know that each child has unique learning capabilities, and we make every effort to meet your child's needs, whether they are a visual learner, a hands-on learner. We try to accompany all of the different types of learning styles that your child may have. However, we are required to teach the Kentucky Core academic standards for all students. So our core instructional time will differentiate with smaller groups, especially with guided reading. Once we get into that, we'll have small groups for that, and other topics that we talk about in class, and whether it be math or science or social studies, we'll try to differentiate that possibly with small group time, or our assistant might work with your child. So we all know that each child has different needs, and we try our best to meet those throughout the school year. V is for value. We value your time and commitment to your child's education through virtual learning and in-person learning. We know how important everybody's time is, especially in our world these days. So please, please, please continue to reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. We are happy to answer those for you. We know that at the start there were a lot of questions, and we hope that we were able to clear things up for you all and help you out in any way that we could, especially while we're learning and navigating all of the new things that we have to use as well. So we hope that we've been good for answering questions and things for you all. So just let us know if there's anything else you ever need. This is our website for our school, and a lot of things will be posted on there. I know that Mrs. Strange puts a calendar on there, especially when school is in session in person. We sometimes have a lot of events going on. So be sure to check that out. The school newsletter is on there. We also have our library media center that's on there. So if that's something you want your child to get into during their independent time in the afternoon, feel free to get on there and kind of check it out and see what is available to your child.
I just wanted to mention too, in terms of value and also our website, another important person in your child's life and in our school is our guidance counselor and our counseling team. That's another level of support. Our children get to see Miss Ashley every other week. She's the little ray of sunshine that comes in. She's like a Disney princess that comes in and does stories and things with them. But we really value the social emotional learning piece. And that's certainly a really important piece right now as we come into this school year. So if there's anything that your family needs or you're struggling with from a social emotional standpoint, please don't hesitate to reach out. Her name is Ashley Keys, and any one of us can help get you in contact with her as well. There's lots of things that are tough right now, and she's a great person to reach out to if there's a need.
Thank you, Julie. I think next year we'll have to add all these special people in the slides so everybody knows how to contact them. I think that would be a great idea for next year. All right, our other W is for Wonders. As a district, Fayette County is using a reading program called Wonders, and that's what our students' handwriting notebook comes from. So it has a lot of resources that are beneficial for our students. If you have any questions about the program, feel free to ask us. We've been using a few of the stories over the last couple weeks, and I know that the kids have really enjoyed listening to those stories, and there's kind of interactive books that are on the Wonders website that we use too, which is nice. It's good for the kids to kind of see different types of reading, whether it be a video or somebody else reading the story online or us reading the story. I think it's good for them to see different perspectives as well. X was obviously a little difficult, but we are so excited. Although this school year started off so differently than anybody is used to, we're just super duper excited to have your child in our class. And we really look forward to being able to return and be in person with them. Thankfully, we teach kindergarten, and a lot of our kids don't know any different. They, some of their preschool got cut off short. So they honestly don't know really what it's like to be at school all day, every day. And so we kind of have that advantage compared to the other grades. So we're thankful how enthusiastic the kids have been and how engaged they've been so far. It's honestly been super shocking for me. I'm sure it has for the other teachers as well. Just seeing how they can still stay focused. And I know it's a long time on the computer, but just seeing them engaged and raising their hand to answer questions, and you can see their mouths moving when they're repeating something, even though you can't hear them. And so it's been pretty neat to kind of be a little shaken, and my expectations have changed, and it's just been really great to see them learning and knowing that they are gaining something from this, even though it's so hard for everybody. So we are very excited for that. Y is for yay. We are so proud of the participation and attendance that we are seeing with each class. We're truly blown away. We know that this is such a hard time, but please continue the great work. It does not go unnoticed. I think that's something that we have tried to hit home, is your work with your kids and the time that you have taken does not go unnoticed. We see it, we appreciate it. We are so encouraged by it, because I don't personally have children yet, so I can't even imagine how hard it is for working parents to get childcare or find somebody to help with their child's schooling. So it really doesn't go unnoticed, and we wanted you all to know that, because we really do appreciate you all. Z is for Zoom. I'm sure that you all just had to jump right in and get super familiar with Zoom right off the bat. And we know that there might be technical difficulties at times with Zoom. I know I've had a few parents reach out and say that they're having trouble getting logged back on. Please be patient and keep trying. If you accidentally kicked off, don't get discouraged. The next day something might be different. So just try to get back on and try to continue to getting on there. Just be patient with it. It is technology. It's not foolproof. It's going to have failures at times, so we appreciate your time with that. We understand that it can be a lot at times, but know that it's okay if your child misses something while they're trying to get logged back on. We understand that we can't just wait if somebody gets kicked off. It's fine. They'll catch up. You can do it later. You can ask me what they're working on. Just don't stress about it. It's okay if they miss something. It won't make or break anything. So just try your best and help your kiddos when you can. We also wanted to put our learning expectations on there for distance learning, just so you all can kind of be familiar with it if you hear us talking about this. Listen when your teacher is teaching. Obviously, we talk about putting on our listening ears and everything. So while we aren't able to hear them, it's also important that they are listening and trying to stay quiet when we're teaching, because as we transition coming back in person, we want them to realize that we can hear them when we're in person. So kind of keeping the talking to a minimum while they're muted is still super helpful at home. Use good manners. I have really been blown away by my kids and their manners. Anytime I say thanks for sharing, they're like, you're welcome. And so it's really sweet to hear them using their manners, even through a computer screen. It's also super important to find a quiet spot. I know that some kids like to sit in the floor or in their bed, but it is pretty helpful if they can find a quiet spot to sit, preferably at a table with a chair. I know that sometimes they have to move around, and that's okay, and that's what our movement breaks are built in the schedule for. But if they could find a spot where they're sitting up, that would be helpful for us and for them. only use the chat when given permission, and we try to tell the kids that this is for the adults to talk to us. There's no reason for the kids to be on there typing because they will just type a bunch of letters right now. So we try to make sure they know that that's for the adults or grown-ups that are with them. Turn off the sound or mute when the lesson begins. They've done a pretty good job with this. I can see more in the afternoons is when my kids start to unmute themselves and call out my name or things like that. So continually giving them that reminder is super helpful. Turn on the video. We understand that some families might not be comfortable at times with the video on, and that is fine. It's just really helpful to have it on so we can see the kids and their participation and their mouths moving when they're repeating something, or if they have something to say with them raising their hand. It's super helpful when their video is on. And being mindful of that, we just want to give a friendly reminder that we and a lot of the other kids in our class can see everything in the background. So just being mindful, maybe having them sit where there's a wall as their background or something with less distractions might be helpful because we can see people in the background. And even talking along those lines, please try to make sure that your child is fully clothed when they come on. We've had some funny situations happen so far, but we try to remind everybody that it is school, and I think it will help transition when we do go back in person if the kids go ahead and get dressed for the day, ready to go, so that they are dressed and clothed like they normally would be for a regular school day. I think would be super helpful. So just kind of helping your kids with that will help us out a lot. At times we've had to turn the video off on some kids for those situations. So just be mindful that we can see everything that's in the video as well as here too. So we just wanted to give that friendly reminder. Bringing their supplies. They've done a really good job with this. I don't think I've had many kids have to run away and get a pencil or a crayon or their binder. So having those close by is super helpful whenever we're having them get out of paper or something. Join the meeting on time. We've kind of already talked about this. If you have a question, raise your hand. They've done really well with this. And then during this lesson, please try not to let your kids eat. We understand that they might be getting on late and miss breakfast, but please try to get them to have breakfast before we start. That's another reason why we have several movement breaks built in, because we want to make sure that the kids have times to get a snack if they need it, because our lunchtime is a little later than it normally would be if we were at school. So those are the times that they can get a snack and get a drink and go to the restroom. I think if whoever is with your child, whatever grown-up is with them, can encourage them to do that during those 10 minutes, I think that would be super helpful for them, just using that time wisely so they're not taking instruction time to do that. And it can also be kind of distracting if kids are eating on the screen. So just being mindful of that. And I'm pretty sure this is our last one. This is Zoophonics. So we've kind of talked about that a little bit, but we've covered all of our Zoophonics cards. Grown-ups, please make sure that your child is participating with the class when we are doing our Zoophonics cards. It's important for them to get their practice with their letters and their sounds. As we've said, we assess them on that. So this is a great way for them to start learning those. We're going to put a sheet on our Google Classroom that will have the moves for each letter and sound. So the students should be able to show you those as well too if they've been paying attention. But it's fun to see all of them on the screen, you know, doing the alligator chomp and their C and all that. So it's cool to see that. Just make sure you're encouraging them to participate and not just do the motions, but also say the letters and the sounds. It's really important for them. So we'll put that on our Google Classroom too. But I think that is it. So we are so thankful for you all, and we are so appreciative of you coming tonight. I'm not sure, I haven't checked. Were there any questions in the chat?
We haven't had any questions so far.
Okay.
Just lots of thank you. And we want to say thank you to you all too. We could not be as successful without you all. So you all are also to thank, and we really, really, really appreciate you. I know we've said it over and over again, but we truly appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks for coming tonight. We will, oh, there was a question. Hold on. How can we see the Imagine Learning time spent? I am able to check on that. I'm not sure if the students are able to see that. Do you know, Julie?
I think right now the teachers are going to have to communicate that time. That's something that we will ask the company about. They're really responsive to that. I don't think that there's a way for you to see the time at this point, but if there is, we'll pass that on. But we've talked about that with other grade levels, and we will probably give like a midweek update on how they're doing on their minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, it doesn't look like there's any other questions. So we will, like I said, this is recorded. So we'll put the link up probably on our Google Classrooms or through email. So you all have access to that if you need to look at it again. We'll put up the PowerPoint too for you all to look at. All right. Is there anything else, Anna? Did you see something?
Yeah, I think right now in American Learning, it was just a comment about students and parents not being able to see the minutes.
Okay.
So that's probably something, anytime that you're wondering, definitely reach out. And that's probably something that we're just going to work on among grade levels, is kind of giving a midweek update to say, hey, great job, you've got your 30 minutes, or just need to spend a little extra time. So we can definitely do that.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. We hope
Thank
that
you all.
have a great week.
Thank you all. See you later.
We'll see you soon.
Bye,
Have a great
everyone.
night.
Thumbs up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rebecca. Oh, Sherry. Rebecca, check your chat. You see it?
Hi, Iris.
That little cutie. Oh my goodness.
Minecraft.
You're playing
Hello.
Minecraft.
Hi, Iris.
I can't wait to see you in the morning.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Follow.
Bye, sweet girl.
Like, where's your shirt, dude? We got him hiding.
Great job, you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you all. See everyone in the
Melissa.
morning.
Yeah, I'll sign off. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Did you see it, Rebecca? Did you see it? No, I just said hi to Selick and I said, where's his shirt? Oh, you got too hot? You're like Riker over here. Riker gets all his runs around his underwear.
All right. Bye, you all.
Bye.
Bye, I'll see you tomorrow, Selick.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.